A precaution. This video contains flashing lights throughout. If you are photosensitive, please consider speaking to a doctor before watching, and remember to please ask them to subscribe. With the most recent episode of the Pokemon anime, Ash's 20+ year-long journey comes to a close. But something that I've seen basically since the anime existed is the consensus that Ash sucks at being a Pokemon trainer. But just how accurate is that? Well, today, I begin my journey to see if Ash's team throughout the Pokemon generations could stand up against the enemy, hoping that I can be the very best like no one ever was. The rules are simple. We're only allowed to use Pokemon Ash used in the anime. This obviously does not include evolutions of Pokemon Ash didn't use, such as Wartortle, Grimer, and Mankey. Additionally, I'm only using abilities Ash used in the anime. So, for example, I can catch a Muck, but the only abilities it can use are Body Slam and Sludge Bomb. If you try doing this too, this isn't necessary, but I just wanted to challenge myself. Absolutely no glitches, because Ash never slid alongside Cinnabar Islands after talking to an old man to fight a mangled jumble of pixels. Or maybe he did, haven't watched the series in a while. In fact, I have a device off to the side of my Game Boy that detects if I commit a 1 in 256 glitch, and if I do, I instantly explode to keep my reputation and honor. Game mode is set to switch, and items are allowed, but I couldn't remember Ash using items mid-battle, so I'm only going to use them outside of battle. Also, I fast forward a lot, so if you ever see a moment where things just jump ahead and seem unnatural, that's why. I'm not cheating. I mean, like, I'm not like making the game easy or anything, This isn't a rule and more so a warning. I suck at Pokemon. I've only played 2 Pokemon games, and even then, didn't get too far. Also, the only stat-changing moves I usually keep are the ones that change the enemy's HP stat to 0. So outside of throwing sand in my enemy's face, don't expect Pokemon challenges or Alpharad levels of skill. TMs are allowed, but only to give moves a Pokemon use in the anime, but either don't learn normally, or as a way to learn a move faster. I'm playing Pokemon Yellow, since we can start with a Pikachu, but there's nothing wrong with the other versions since Ash gets all 3 starters. But, with that out of the way, let's get going on our Pokemon journey. So, we begin the game, and for this first game, I'm calling us Ash and Gary. I'll call the protag and rival something funny next time, but for now, let's just stick with the basics. Get attacked by a Pokemon, get saved by an old man, and then get given a Pekora after Gary is a sore loser. Which, fair, his uncle does unfairly like me more than his actual blood and kin. This battle shows off how already we're handicapped in some way. Pekora starts with 2 moves, Thundershock and Growl. However, Pekora never uses Growl in the anime, and as such, we can only use Thundershock. This also means that we can never lower the enemy's attack, at least with Pekora. We're stuck taking the same damage over and over until poor Eevee goes into shock. Get the old man's package and return it for the Pokédex. I'm going to complete like 7% of this. Gary's sister gives us a map, defying her brother, which is based. And we make our way north. Pidgey for reasons, and now we should explain how it'll work. All you need to do is keep it as a Pidgeotto. In the anime, Ash had a Pidgeotto until it evolved, became a Pidgeot, and left it at home. So if it never evolves, I can keep it. But as a counterpoint to that, if I ever reach the episode that a Pokemon evolved in, I have to evolve it at that state. So my eventual Charmander will evolve at level 43, Pidgeotto at 86, etc, etc. Heading into the forest to murder a bunch of bugs, I nab a bug of my own, and train him using Metapods. I fight every trainer for money and nab all the items, and move on to Greytown. This Jigglypuff puts my Pokemon to sleep, which, rude, and then I decide to try my hand at the gym battle. I mean, I handled Diglett pretty well. How bad can Brock be? Pretty bad, because I get my butt kicked. Yeah, you know, there's just too many birds. I've heard they're government spies. Koga evolves into Metapod, and Kiara evolves into Pidgeotto. I come back, and Brock can't handle the might of Bird, and I roast him completely. Badge 1 done, and we can move on to Gym 2. After ping-ponging my way through the pathway in the Poke Center, the only real issue is the one Jigglypuff who beat the snot out of my Pekora. Koga evolves once more and we bumble about the cave, beating more children and grown men who definitely have scoliosis. Pikachu learns Double Team, which other than Quick Attack, means that Pikachu has learned 6 moves, only 2 of them being usable. Cool. There's no reason to think about the choice between fossils, so I picked the Helix fossil, because that's a cooler word. Then Team Rocket. Bail from this cave. Once in Cerulean City, try to give your Pikachu a burn heal over and over. This actually increases your friendship, even if it does nothing. And if you have 147 friendship with it, this lady will give you a free bubble store. I like free stuff. Fauna really helps out in the fights due to her ability to suck HP from enemies, even if she isn't the one benefiting from it. I gotta say, if there is one advantage to this version, having a level 17 electric type sure makes Misty's fight easy, even if Starmie didn't crit me with a bubble beam. Regardless, I got the badge, and now I'm gonna make my way to Shakedown Road. I wanted to go through all 5 fights in a row, but then I remember, I suck, and went back and forth from the center and the bridge. At the end, some loser asks me to join Team Rocket, but they don't have good dental, so I punch his face. Also, I'm about to do something crazy. Sell the TMs. After all, I can only use moves Ash Pokemon used, so for the most part, they're useless. So screw it, sell them, I don't care. The only one I kept for the TMs I've got so far is TM1, which is Mega Punch, because I want my Charmander to be as useful as possible. After all, once it becomes Charmeleon, in the anime, it only fights fire types. But don't worry, I only have to do that until I reach the Orange Islands. When do we get there? Fire Red Leaf Green. So never. Instead, I just decide to keep it as a baby Charmander. We begin heading towards Bill's house, since we need the ticket to the SS Anne, and he's our ticket to the ticket. Alpha Rad moment. I forget to film actually receiving the ticket, and then make my way south. Once we arrive in the city, we heal up and get a rod from an old man. I should probably restructure that later. I fast forward through some losers bragging about his Pokemon, and get a bike voucher in return. Now, with our Pokemons healed, we board the SS Anne. Heading over to the kitchen, we check a trash can and get a Great Ball. Both of these trainers I had no trouble with, except for this loser, who has 2 Growliths, and they're actually pretty strong. I need to heal after such a rough fight, so... Oh. I went the wrong way. First up is his Spear Up, which Kiara's Quick Attack defeats him, but she didn't make it out unscathed. Quick Attack spared us from his Rattata. Fauna is able to deal with the Sandshrew despite how injured she was. Then, against Eevee, Kiara beats him up, and as punishment for using items mid-battle, we execute it. In exchange for prevailing in the face of certain doom, this loser who loves staring at trash cans gives us Cut. Then I take literally 1 step off the ship, and it leaves. Now we need to address the HM-shaped elephant in the room. From my research, Ash never used any of the HM moves, but we need to use these items and moves to get further into the game. So here's what I came up with. I can equip these moves onto Pokemon, but I cannot use them in combat. That way I can continue playing the game and increase the difficulty, as now Fauna can only learn 3 combat moves, 1 slot permanently being taken up by Cut. Now we mop up the 3 trainers in the gym and begin this stupid puzzle of searching for switches in the trash cans. God, this is annoying. I was lucky and only had to reset once, but in my previous attempt, I had to reset since I let Fauna evolve. I had to do the puzzle 7 times. And it's just the same thing over. Walk up to a trash can, boop, nothing. Walk up to a trash can, boop, nothing. Walk up to a trash can, oh, you found something. Walk up to a trash can, oop, you picked the wrong thing resets. Who even finds this fun? Why is this here? Why did they keep this in further games? Frick you, Game Freak. Regardless, we approach Lieutenant Surge and prepare to fight. No doubt, one of our hardest fights. Lieutenant Surge is an electric gym, and just look at our team. Kiara and Koga are weak to him, and the rest of our team can't do much against him. Now, let's look at his Pokemon. Sure, it's just a single Raichu, but that philosophy will be your end. It's about 7 levels higher than most of our Pokemon, with the only exception being Kiara, but again, 2 times weak. Growl makes our poor damage output even lamer. Thunderbolt can be extremely lethal, even against non-water flying Pokemon, and he has 2 Mega Attacks. They're not the strongest attacks, but I have been crit by them more times than I haven't, meaning they'll tail through any Pokemon that isn't one-shot by Thunderbolt. He is a monster, destroying my entire team with plenty of HP left. I was completely destroyed, so with my tail between my legs, I headed out to grind a bit to make my team stronger. After some training, I step up to the plate, this time with a plan. Flare takes point, who will do as much as she can with Seismic Toss before her time is up. Then I'll actually send in Kiara, whose Quick Attack will be able to at least do damage for him before she's one-shot, with Peko doing the same song and dance. Koga won't be able to do anything, so our last hope is the Vine Whip Fauna, With a plan set, I launch Flare, and then Raichu does nothing but growl and buff its speed as we beat him in 3 moves. Huh. After that disappointment, we pick up Kobo, the Squirtle, from Officer Jenny, and head back up to Cerulean to pick up the bike to help speed this game up. Once I do, I return to Vermilion and head east, battling randos to get to Rock Tunnel. I never went back to get Flash and didn't want to take up a slot, so I just googled a map and stumbled my way through. It's not that interesting. How many of y'all knew you could do that? Now that we're in Celadon City, head up to the roof of the mansion to... Oh! I can't use this, but I'll definitely take it. The Mega Mart has loads of things we want, such as items, permanent stat boosters, and most importantly, lemonade. Seriously, lemonade is the best way to heal your Pokemon. It only costs 350p, which is more expensive than the normal potion, but not only is it cheaper than Super and Hyper potions, it heals 80 HP, almost twice the healing of a Super at half the cost. Plus, buying 1 Hyper potion to heal 200 HP is far worse than buying 4 lemonades and not only healing more, but having some money left over. It's amazing, and I stop by here all the time for lemonades. There's also a little girl who can give you TMs in exchange for one of the 3 drinks. We can't use any of them, or at least 2 of them, so once that's done, I make my way over to the gym and... Anyway, we now enter the gym with a Charmander, a Dream, and 42 gallons of gasoline, because we about to burn this place down. Charmander's Ember isn't the greatest, but it's what we got for Erica's gym. The most difficult thing about this gym is the fact that many Pokemon have the move Wrap, which if it hits, stun locks our Pokemon until we either break free, switch, or die. But this just meant I switched between Flare and Kiara, since by this point she had learned Wing Attack, her first flying type move that is effective against Grass type. Together, the two breeze through this dungeon, and eventually we make it to Erica, who, after remembering what her job is, engages. First opponent, Tangela. Ember won't actually do too much to it, and since it knows Bind, I had to adapt. After Kiara was attached to, I swapped to Peko for a bit, before turning it into a ball and hucking it at the ground like a 6-year-old hucks a controller after losing Mario Kart. Weepin' Bella's next, so I set it ablaze, then I straight up ballin' my way to Gloom, who one-shots my Charmander. But thankfully, Kiara is able to wipe it up, obtaining us the 4th badge and proving that dead Pokemon can still evolve, meaning they're better than my grandpa. Once we obtain the badge, we're not done yet in this city. Head over to this unmarked building to enter the game center. Here, idiots can gamble their money in hopes of getting some TMs and useless Pokemon. Pfft, losers. Remember kids, gambling is for chumps. This guard is guarding a poster, so I punch his face and then poke the poster, revealing a hidden stairwell to a secret base of Team Rockets. Oh no! Time to beat up a bunch of sad adults. Winning gets me the Silph Scope, an item that lets me seek and fight ghosts. Before we return to Lavender Town, however, buy some water and take it to the guards that block you from entering Saffron City, and they'll let you through. There's nothing here for us yet, so just bail and head out to Spooktown, PUSA. This is something that you'll never ever see anymore, but like, these people are mourning their dead Pokemon. Not fainting, not sleeping, dead. As we rise the stairs, we meet up with Gary and fight him. Nothing too challenging, and in fact, when I first wrote the script, I forgot to include this fight. He was that boring. Climbing higher, I learn that all the upcoming trainers are girls possessed by spooky ghosts. Naturally, being a gentlemanly sir that I am, I decide to fight every single trainer to free them from those nasty, spooky boys. And instead of dividing the XP equally or giving special treatment to my lower level Pokemons, I just used Kiara the entire time. Worked like a charm. I also used TM1 to teach a Mega Punch to Flare. Team Rocket was no issue, and afterwards, this dude gives me his flute, which can be used to wake up a Snorlax, meaning we can catch one and add it to our team. Unfortunately, this is easier said than done. Not only do Snorlaxes have incredible strength and defense, catching it is going to be harder than expected. At least, that's what attempt 1 through 3 me thought. After 3 failed attempts, I vaguely remembered a video I saw about how weird Gen 1 catch mechanics are. Watch that and learn some important things. If you want to know more about Pokemon catching, I'll include a link below, so check that out if you want to see it. But basically, what I need to do is lower it to half health and throw the ball while it's sleeping. Doing so gets me the big boy, and since it's such a sleepy boy, I named him Mori, obviously. Further south past some trainers is the Fisherman's house. This guy gives us the Super Rod, which we backtrack to Bill's house to pilfer our newest team member, Sencho. Our next target is the fighting dojo in Saffron. As well, it is completely optional, money. We mostly just spam Kiara since flying is effective against fighting, and if something goes wrong, Peko can pick up the slack. Nothing else interesting happens, and so we get a choice between Hitmonchan and Lee. It doesn't really matter who I picked, I just picked Chan so I can make a JoJo reference. Now we move on to Saffron Tower. This tower is a large tower full of foes and items, but there's an easy path forward. Head up to the 9th floor and make your way to the bottom, and you'll find a nice lady who will let you and your Pokemon rest, restoring their HP and PP for free. Score! Then once the path to restoration is safe, head back to the elevator and go down to the 5th floor to find the keycard, allowing you to open doors. Then I just cleared the entire building of sad adults to make money. Then I head down to the 3rd floor and then stepped on this pad to warp here. Fight my rival in the second most forgettable rival fight ever. And then we... Moving on, we fight Giovanni in order to save Mr. Silph. Nidorina is up first, and while I was hoping Koba would handle it, she couldn't. So Mori had to finish her off. Persian's next, and as usual, turning it into a ball fixes everything. Fauna weakens Rhyhorn so Kobo can finish him off, and then we swap out to Kiara for the Nidoqueen fight. But she couldn't finish it, so Mori had to step in and win once again. She nearly died, but don't worry, it's all good. We win and get the Master Ball from Mr. Silph. Now it's time for Sabrina. I was not looking forward to this. I have heard horror stories about how painful Sabrina is, especially since I've heard how broken psychic types are in this gen. Regardless, I had to brave the battle. I warp around and managed to make it through only one trainer fight since I need to conserve my mon's PP, but now it was time to fight. First, she throws out Abra, and Mori can take it out easily. Next is Kadabra, and Mori's body slam is still broken, but we need to be sure to take it out as fast as we can, since it can heal itself. We do get the win, but now we're fighting Alakazam, so we start slamming. Come on and jam. Mori goes on an annoying missing streak, but a combination of Paralyzed doing its job and it trying to heal itself whenever it can keeps Mori alive. Until it decides to attack and then we unalive. Peko is out next, and man does she get her butt kicked. Thinking hard, I sent out Fauna, as while Alakazam could easily wipe her out, she could Leech Seed them on, giving us not only more time if we survive a hit, but is more likely to cast Recover now. Razor Leaf helps out with damage, but as I thought, one attack was all it needed to take her out. Flare came out next and was able to take her out, thanks especially to 2 consecutive turns of being fully paralyzed. So we win! We win first try? Not even Sabrina expected this. We take those dubs where we can. Heading south, we train Peko thanks to all the bird trainers. Eventually, we make it to Fuchsia City and... Oh yeah, I should let y'all know something. So I had used save states after beating each gym in case my save got screwed up or something like that. The way save stating on this works is a simple process. Hold shift, then press one of the F keys. And then one night, I forgot to hit the shift key, meaning I had to redo everything from the 4th gym on. And don't worry, Sabrina kicked my butt this time. I was not spared. The only thing that changed really was I benched Kobo much earlier so as to use Sencho instead. Sencho's special may not be great, but it does have Guillotine. What does it do? Well, it gives us a 33.4% chance of committing 1789 Frenchmen, one-shotting the enemy. Gambling is cool. In case you were curious, here's the levels and mons I'm using after the reset. Also, I found a PP up. Nice. Once we make it back to the city I hate spelling, we head north so we can enter the Safari Zone, an area where instead of battling, we... Once we do, we head off to fight an actual ninja. You can make it through the gym fighting only 2 guys. They're not that threatening. Fight the jugglers to get to ninja leader Koga. His first mon is Venonat, which we set ablaze. Poison and Psychic hurts, but we're strong enough to fight against the pain. Flare is also able to take out the second mon, another Venonat. And then he throws another one at us. Did I go to the bug gym by accident? Regardless, Wing Attack from Kiara is able to take it out. Venomoth is up next, and since it's flying, naturally... I brought out Sencho. I was trying to use Guillotine, but when that doesn't works, I give up and do the only smart thing and bring out Mori. Thankfully, Body Slam's paralysis is able to take him out. Easy. Go left for a quick detour. As up Bike Road and past some bikers, we get into this secret house to get access to flying, allowing us to warp anywhere we've been. Nice. Buy some revives, stat boosters, and lemonade, then it's time for some side questing, backtracking to previous areas to get things. Didn't amount to much, so I deleted this footage wall. Other than this old Amber I'm going to make bank on. After racing past some losers I beat hours ago, I surfed down to the power station for items and XP. During the side quest, I remember vaguely that there was a cool reward if you surfed heading south of Pallet Town. The reward is the area of the 7th gym. Oops. We need to head into the fire mansion for a key card. We get it. Ow. Now it's time for the gym. This one is unique as we need to answer questions or have to fight some random losers. I get them all wrong because I am greedy. Regardless, now it's time to fight this old man. First, Ninetales. Sencho is sent out first because of the type advantage, but as you can see, Sencho's special stat sucks! Regardless, Mori is able to wipe out Ninetales. Also, Mori hurts herself. And man, have I not hated a status effect in a game like Confusion. Rapidash is next, but Mori's stomach and face prove superior. Ew, Arden. Finally, we get the sort of legendary Arcanine. He draws some kanji on Mori, and since she's been slacking on her duel lingo, it wipes her out. Pekko is next, and well, alright. Time for ball strats. And thankfully, it all works very well. Now it's time for the next gym. But where is it? It's back in the first city we went to. It's open now, and who's its champion? Well, we'll just have to see. The enemies in the gym are powerful, but we're able to get Arrow! Never get tired of this. Now it's time to fight What? Giovanni? Why I never! What a twist! Time to fight, you nerd. First, Doug Trio. Fauna is able to do major damage, but she was unable to resist the dig like I thought she would be able to. Switching to Kiara to dodge this crap is nice, then now it's time to continue the tradition of turning cats into balls, until his cat murders 2 of my mons. Sencho tries to one-shot him, but it fails, and despite her attempts, she gets wrecked. Then Persian kills another Murder Cat! Mori is able to defeat the Murder Cat, but Nidoqueen finishes her, meaning for the first time since the 3rd gym, we're beat. Deciding to try this whole thing called thinking, I decide to try again. Fauna's up first so she can attack without spending a turn switching, but she gets one-shot once again. Kiara finishes it, but ball strats seem less than effective on cats now. Mori sure does work wonders, though. Guillotine works great, but Nidoking's work greater. Mori tries to beat him, but she just can't. No one can, and so we're wiped out once again. Fine, I'll do some grinding. And by grinding, I mean cheat. Nope, I don't cheat. And also I have no idea how to get infinite rare candies. Trying again after grinding, Razor Leaf crits can now kill Doug Trio. Fauna fights Nidoqueen, and with her finishes it pretty easily. Fauna fires her laser again, and boy is it fun. You already know that Rhyhorn goes down like a loser, so we win! We did it! We beat the game, y'all! Got all the badges, and not yet. We got all 8 gym badges like Ash did, true. But this is, can you beat Pokemon as Ash, not Pokemon the anime, the game. There's still one thing left to do. Punch Gary in the face as we make our way to Victory Road. There's a stupid cave we need to go through by pushing rock. Oh, Moltres. Stay toasty, my feathered friend. Then, we encounter our final challenge, and the last thing keeping us from the Elite Four. A choose-your-own path between statues with only one path leading to the door. This would probably look really stupid if this game was in 3D. Now, we get to the Elite Four. And I lost 3 days of about 4.5 hours sessions to these dastards. These 4 are incredibly strong, with types we rarely see, and this is going to be tough. Understand that I had to take multiple breaks to grind, not just in between elite members, but during the Elite 4 members, just to try and beat each one. So I decided to introduce my forehead to this brick wall. Over, and 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 over. Instead of going over every single attempt, just showing you how much it sucks to be me, I'll just describe the trials I have to go through with each one. Our first opponent is Lorelei, a hot lady who uses cool Pokemon. Alongside wielding ice Pokemon, she also has 2 super potions she'll frequently use if her Pokemon are badly hurt. First up is Dugong. Aura and Bubble Beam are highly powerful. Dugong is very resistant, and even if we damage it, it can use Rest or one of Lorelei's potions to make it last even longer. First, hit it with Peko. While not every single time, most times it would rest after being hit by a Thunder. Which, while it would undo all the damage I did, would leave it open for 3 attacks, enough to wipe it out. Now we move on to Cloyster. Cloyster has Spike Cannon, a multi-hit move that I never saw hit less than 3 times, Supersonic, which causes that irritating confusion that I love, Clamp, which is Water Wrap, and Ice Beam, which is very powerful. Once again, I tried using Fauna and Peko, but it would eventually be Sencho to handle this, who's strong enough to take Cloyster's abuse, and I either pray for Guillotine, or hope she can last through Crab Hammer and Vice Grip. Slowbro up, and it's powerful. Withdraw buffs its defense, Amnesia buffs its special 2 stages, which I am 90% sure acts as both offense and defense, and Surf and Psychic being powerful water and psychic abilities respectively. Slowbro always had the same strategy. Fauna uses Solar Beam, and pray that it uses Amnesia instead of murdering me. Sometimes it works, and we can move on. Sometimes it doesn't, and I pray Peko can finish this. Jinx is a powerful Pokemon, and despite having 4 moves, all I ever saw her use is Thrash, which once she uses it, she can't stop using it. Mori handles it. Finally, Lapras. I kinda didn't really have a concrete plan, just throw whoever was healthy at her, that usually worked. Lorelei down, and now we move on to Bruno, the weakest link. Bruno is easily the weakest member of the Elite Four, and that's because all his Pokemon have common weaknesses, and almost no defense to speak of. It wasn't even that hard to figure out what to do, as I made it past him on my first run that got past Lorelei. Fauna takes out his 2 Onyxes, while his Hitmonlee is as simple as use Kiara, and pray she doesn't die, and swap the Primeape if it does. Oh yeah, I swapped Flare for Primeape a while back. I did this because of Primeape's superior stats, and also that I was running out of time for her, only having 2 levels until she's forced to evolve, and I can only use her on fire types. The Elite Four has 0 fire types. But Hitmonchan is a bit more difficult. Hitmonchan is difficult because it actually doesn't have fighting type moves. Instead it has 3 element punches. This means it's actually safest to use Mori, Kiara and Mori, then wipe out his Machamp, and then we move on to Agatha. First, I thought Brock would be the hardest trainer, due to our lack of strength and Pokemon. Then I thought it'd be Lieutenant Surge, due to the utter strength of his single Raichu. Then I thought it would be Giovanni, just because of how utterly stacked his team was. But no. No. Agatha! Agatha is a monster! She claims that Pokemon are used for fighting, but no, they are used for blood sport. Agatha is a ghost trainer, and that's something I can't compete against. Just can't. Ghosts are completely immune to physical and fighting type moves, which means 2 of my 6 Pokemon are useless, and her mons are powerful even if I could hit them. Agatha's first Gengar, yes, first Gengar, has Giga Drain, which not only heals him if it hits, it can one-shot Sencho. It also has Confuse Ray, Lick, which deals ghost damage, and can paralyze. But worst of all, he has Substitute. Substitute damages him for 1/4 of his health, but in exchange, he creates a little guy with the health he lost, meaning I can't do anything to him during this time, but he can do anything to me. Golbat has Supersonic, Leech Life drains HP again, Wing Attack is a powerful flying attack, and Toxic is a more powerful poison than normal. It's ironically the easiest member to deal with, but man does it still suck. Haunter is up next, and he has Confuse Ray and Lick, which while powerful isn't as terrifying as its other combo, Hypnosis and Dream Eater. Hypnosis puts Pokemon to sleep, and then Dream Eater obliterates their health and heals Haunter. Arbok is the least interesting, but is still powerful, with Wrap, Glare, which is another paralysis move, Screech, a debuff, and Acid, a debuff attack combo. It's boring, but it's effective. And then finally, there's the second Gengar, whose only ghost move is Confuse Ray. But it also has the Hypnosis Dream Eater combo and Psychic. I spent hours trying to figure things out. Attempt after attempt after attempt after attempt. I failed. So much failure. I almost consider saying it was impossible, because how can I beat the game if I can't beat the third member of the Elite Four? But then, a misinput gave me an idea. Sand Attack hits, and if Sand Attack hits, their chance of hitting goes down. Now I had a plan. Pocket Sand. And though it was hard, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5! Done! Now it's time to finish this with Lance. Lance has dragons, but I'm so hyped up on adrenaline, I blitz through this Skyrim fanboy. Gyarados is zapped, Mori wombos the Dragonairs, Fauna finishes the Flying Freak, and Dragonite is easily the most powerful. But when you got accuracy issues and a powerful stomach, who even cares? But that's not our final battle. No. Because right before we succeeded, Gary did. And now it's time for our final battle for the crown. Gary begins our final duel with a Sand Slash, but Poison Stings mean nothing to the power of the sun. Alakazam was facing Mori, and while powerful, he's nothing compared to Team Dad. Kiara steps in to fight Executor, and Wing Attack handles him wellish, but I still use some Sand Attacks just in case. Executor then puts Kiara to sleep, and while she can't seem to wake, he really isn't all that threatening. Until he stomps and nearly kills Kiara. But then, even with a super effective attack, he lives, and then finishes my birdie. Pekka quick attacks Executor and finishes him, then next up is Magneton, who I bring out Mori for. They paralyze one another, but he gets full restored and then finishes Mori. Fauna steps in to Solar Beam the balls, and then Razor Leaf finishes it. Pekka steps in to fight Cloyster, but I need to swap out, and Fauna dies. But now we've got 2 Mons left for Flareon, his most powerful Pokemon, and the one he's trained at the entire game. But we have to do this. Pekka's up first, but it doesn't last long. Now all we've got left is Sencho, and even with a water attack, there's no way she can finish her. But we've still got 2 guillotine uses. Maybe. Just a maybe. Attempt number 1. No! We take a hit, and it hits. We did it. We did it! So, yeah. You can beat Pokemon as Ash, but man, is it difficult. At multiple points, I thought that maybe this was impossible, but, yeah, really glad this panned out.